What is EBS volumes and snapshots? So EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. So whenever we launch one EC2 instance, so by default storage will be allocated to that machine, so which is nothing but a root volume. So if it is a Linux machine, by default root volume size is 8 GB, and for Windows root volume size is 30 GB. Okay. So here when we launch one EC2 instance, so here I will click on this launch instance. So here if we select Linux machine, okay, so then root volume will be 8 GB. So this is the root volume. And if we select the Windows, so then root volume will be 30 GB. See here 30 GB is the root volume for Windows machine. Okay. So EBS maximum size is 16 TB, which is 16,000 GB. So EBS volumes are categorized into two types. So one is root volume and other one is additional volume. So here volumes are nothing but a storage and snapshot is a volume backup. So whatever the backup which we take for a volume, so that is called a snapshot. Okay. So for every machine, root volume is mandatory and we cannot remove the root volume from the machine. And if we try to remove or detach the root volume from the machine, then we cannot start the machine. Okay. So we also have a additional volume and it is just like a pen drive or external hard disk. Okay. So here, let's say we have two machines. Okay. So this is VM1 and this one is VM2. Okay, so here we have two machines. So here if you want to transfer the data from one machine to another machine, so what we will do? So we will connect one pen drive to the first machine. Okay, so here we will connect the pen drive and then we will transfer the data from VM1 to this pen drive. Okay, and then we will disconnect this pen drive from the first machine and then we will connect the pen drive to the second machine and then we will transfer the data from pen drive to the second machine. Okay. So here in the same way, if you want to transfer the data from the first machine to another machine, so here we have to make use of additional value. Okay. So here additional value behaves just like a pen drive. So here we can get more storage using this additional value. So here we can attach this additional value to the EC2 machines and these additional values are optional. Okay. So here we cannot attach one additional value to another EC2 instance because that additional value is associated to another machine. Okay. So here suppose I have one pen drive. So I attach one pen drive to the first machine. Okay. So I cannot attach the same pen drive to the second machine at the same time. So if you want to connect the same pen drive, so then we have to detach this pen drive from the first machine and then we have to connect that pen drive to the second machine. Okay. So in the same way, we have attached one additional value to the first machine. So we cannot attach the same additional value to the second machine. So if you want to attach the additional value to the second machine, so first we have to detach this additional value from the first machine and then we have to attach that same additional value to the second machine here. Okay, so this is nothing but an additional value in AWS. So here we have 5 EBS value types. So one is general purpose, second one is provisioned IOPS, third one is cold STD, fourth one is throughput optimized, and last one is magnetic. Okay. So here EBS values are availability zone specific. Okay. So suppose I have created my machine in Mumbai region. Okay. So the code for the Mumbai is AP South 1. Okay. So if you go to the AWS console, so if you expand this, see AP South 1 is the code for the Mumbai region. Okay. So in Mumbai region, we have three availability zone, that is 1A, 1B and 1C. So we have three availability zones. Okay. So suppose I created my EC2 instance in 1A availability zone. Okay. And if you want to attach the additional value to this EC2 machine, then we have to create that additional value in the same availability zone. Okay. So here we have to create this additional value in 1A availability zone. Okay, so then only we can attach this additional value to the EC2 machine. Okay, that is because these additional values are zone specific. So suppose if I create an additional value in 1B or 1C availability zone, okay, so then we cannot attach this additional value to the EC2 instance. So that is because these two are in different availability zone and my EC2 is in different availability zone. So that is the reason we cannot attach the additional values which are in different zones. So if you want to attach the additional value, to the EC2 instance, then this additional value should also be in the same zone where EC2 is available. Okay, so here you can say that additional values are zone specific. So now here I will show one example and we will do that example practically in AWS console. Okay, so suppose I created two machines. So here I created two machines in AWS console. Okay, so here I created two machines in AWS console. Okay, and when we create an EC2 instance, so by default we will get a root value, right? So by default we will get a root value for both the EC2 instance. So this is VM1, okay, and this one is VM2. So when we create an EC2 instance, so by default we will get a root value, okay. So here we will get a root value. So this is the root value, okay. So this is the root value. So now I will create one additional value. So here I will create one additional value. Okay, so I have created one additional value and I will attach this additional value to the first machine. So here I will attach the additional value. Okay, so this is the additional value. So now after attaching the additional value, I will create two files in this additional value. Okay, so here I will create two files in the additional value. So file names will be a.txt and b.txt. Okay, so after creating the files, so what I will do, I will detach this additional value from the first machine. Okay, so then I will attach the same additional value to the second machine. So here I will attach the additional value. So after attaching the additional value, I will check whether these two files are available in this additional value or not. Okay, so we will do this example practically. So for that, I will go to the AWS console. So this is the AWS console. So first I will try to create one EC2 instance. Okay, so before that I will go to the volumes. So this is the volumes. Okay, as of now there are no volumes available. Okay, so now I will try to create one instance. So here I will click on launch instance. So here I will select the template as Linux. Instance type will be T2 micro. Key pair is Windows 3. Okay, so by default we are getting the root value as 8 GB. So here I will create the number of instances as 2. Okay, so then I will click on launch instance. See, here it is in pending state. Okay, so once this is up and running, we will connect to this machine. Okay, see, if you see, these machines are getting created in 1B availability zone. Okay, so here these machines are created in 1B availability zone. So it is in 1B availability zone. So now it is in running state. Okay, so now I will name it as VM1 and this one I will name it as VM2. Okay, see, both are running. So now I will go to the volumes. So if you go to the volumes, see, by default two volumes are created. Okay, so these are nothing but a root volumes. Okay, so if you see here, so for both EC2 instances volumes are created. Okay, so volume state is in use. So this is for VM2 and this one is for VM1. Okay, so here we will name it as root volume. Okay, root volume VM1, root volume VM2. Okay, So now VMs are created, right? So now root volumes are also created by default. Okay, and these root volumes are attached to the EC2 instances. So now I will try to connect to one of the EC2 instance. So I will connect to the first machine. So this is the IP. Okay, so I will open the mobile XTerm. So here I will open the mobile XTerm. So here I will click on session SSH. Here I will paste the IP. Okay, I will specify the username as EC2 user. So here I will click on advanced SSH settings. I will upload the private key. Okay, so private key will be Windows 3. So here I will upload the key. I will click on OK, accept. Okay, see now we can able to connect to the Linux machine. Okay, so now I will execute one command. Okay, so first command I will execute is lsdlk. lsdlk. Okay, it will show the list of the volumes. So here I will execute lsdlk. See here we have only one volume, that is root volume. So that root volume name is xvda and the size is 8 GB, right? So now I will create one additional volume and I will attach that additional volume to this EC2 instance. Okay, so for that I will go to the volumes. So this is the volumes and I will click on create volume. Okay, so now I am creating the additional volume. So here I am selecting the volume type as general purpose. Okay, so we have 5 types. One is general purpose, provisioned IOPS, cold STD, throughput optimized, and magnetic. Okay, so I am selecting the default volume type. So here the size is 100 GB. Okay, so availability zone. Okay, so we have to create our volume in 1B availability zone. Okay, so that is because our machines are available in 1B availability zone. See, our machines are in 1B availability zone. So that is the reason we have to create our additional values in 1B availability zone. So then only we can able to attach this additional value to our EC2 instance. Okay, so these additional values are zone specific. So now I will create a value. So this is the additional value, right? See, here volume state is creating. Okay, so once it is available, we will attach this additional value to the EC2 instance. See, it is available now, so that we can attach this additional value to EC2. So I am selecting this additional value. I will click on actions. I will attach the value. Okay, so here it will ask for instance type. So here I am selecting the VM1. Okay, so to this VM1 I am attaching this additional value. Okay, so here we are getting the device name as dev/sdf. Okay, so when we connect a pendrive to our machines, we will get a device name, right? So in the same way we will get a device name for the additional value. Okay, so now this device name will be renamed as xvdf. Okay, so this will be the device name for additional value. So this is the device name. Okay, so dev/xvdf is the additional value device name. So now I will attach this additional value to EC2. Okay, now I will attach the value. So now the value is attached. Okay, so now I will go to the Linux machine. So now here I will execute this lsblk command once again. See, here you can see that additional value xvdf is attached to this EC2 instance. Okay, so earlier we did not attach this additional value, so we are getting only root value, right? So now we are getting the root value, that is 8 GB, and also we are getting the xvdf, that is 100 GB. Okay, so now we can able to attach the additional value to this EC2 instance. Okay, right. So once the additional value is attached to the EC2 instance, then we have to execute this sudo command. Okay, so if we want to format the data, then we have to execute this command. Okay, so I will execute this command. So here I will execute sudo mke2fs-j. So here I will specify additional value device name. Okay, xvdf is the device name. See, it is getting formatted. Okay, so once the formatting is done, we have to create one directory. So in order to create a directory, we have to execute this sudo mkdir command. Okay. See, I will execute sudo mkdir and I will create a folder. Okay. So test folder. The folder is created. Okay. So once the folder is created, then we have to mount that additional value to the folder. Okay. So in order to establish a link between the additional value and the directory, we have to execute the mount command. Okay. So this is the mount command. So I will execute a mount command to establish a link between the additional value and the new folder. So here I will execute sudo mount additional value device name and new folder. Okay. New folder name is test, right? See, here mounting is done. Okay. See, once mounting is done, we have to navigate to the new directory and then we have to create a files. Okay. So here I will navigate to the test folder, cd test. Okay. See, here it is navigated to the test folder and now I will create a two files. So here I said, so we have to create a two files, that is a.txt and b.txt, right? So now I will create the two files. Okay. So in order to create a file, we have to execute sudo touch a.txt p.txt. Okay. See, here files are created. Now I will execute ls space -l. See, here two files are created. Okay. So now after files are created, now I will detach the additional value from this EC2 instance. Okay. So here I will go to the AWS console. So this is the additional value, right? So I will detach the additional value from the first instance. Post detach. Okay, it has been detached. So now I will check the command. So now I will check whether the additional value is detached or not. Okay, so I will go to Linux machine and then I will execute lsblk. See, here now we cannot able to see that xpdf. Okay, so additional value is detached. We can able to see only the root value. So now what I will do is I will attach the additional value to the second instance. Okay, so now I will attach the additional value to the second instance. So now I will go to the AWS console here. So now I will check whether the volume is available or not. Yeah, now volume is available. So now I will click on action, attach value. So here I will select the second machine. Okay, I will select the second machine and here the device name will be xvdf. Okay, so now I will click on attach value. So volume is attached. So now I will connect to that second instance now. So this is the second VM. So this is the public IP. Okay, so I will go to the mobile XTEM. So here I will click on sessions. So before that I will rename the tab. This is for VM1 session SSH IP. I will specify the username. I will click on advanced SSH settings. I will upload the private key. Accept. Okay. So now I will rename it as VM2. I will execute lsblk command. Okay, so here we can able to see the additional value and the root value. Okay, so root value is 8 GB, additional value is 100 GB. Okay, so now in order to see the existing data in this additional value, so first we have to create a new directory and then we have to mount that new directory to the additional value. So then only we can able to see the existing data. Okay, so once after attaching the additional value, so we have to create a directory and then we have to mount it to additional value. So then only we can able to see the existing data in the additional value. Okay, so now I will create one new folder and I will mount that new folder to the additional value. So here I will execute sudo mkdir test1. Okay, so this is a folder name I have created. So now I will mount the new folder to the additional value. Okay, sudo mount /xvdf. So this is the additional value device name and this is the folder name. Okay, see, mounting has been done successfully. See, now after mounting is done, Then I will check whether the two files a.txt and b.txt are available or not. Okay, so for that I will execute ls space -l and the folder name. Okay, so folder name is test1. See here we can able to see the two files, right? So these files we have created in the first machine. Okay, so we have connected the additional value to the first machine and we have created those files in the first machine, right? And then we have detached that additional value and then we have connected that additional value to the second machine and then we check whether the data is available or not. So here we can able to see the data, right? So this is all about additional value in AWS. Okay, so what commands I have executed, I will show you. So first I executed lsblk command to check the list of values. Okay, so then I have created a folder sudo mkdir and the folder name. Okay, so directory name. So once I executed this command, then I have created sudo mount /xvdf and the folder name. Okay, so here we are mounting the additional value to the folder name. Okay, so we are establishing a link between the additional value and the folder name. So once this is done, what we have done, so we have navigated to the new folder. So here by using cd folder name, so we have navigated to the folder name and inside that folder we have created two files. Okay, so we have used sudo touch a.txt and b.txt. Okay, so we executed this command to create a new files in the folder. Okay, so once this command is executed, so we have to execute ls-l. So we have to execute this command to check whether these files are created or not. Okay, so these are the commands we have executed in VM1. Okay, so then we have connected to the VM2. Okay, in VM2 what we have done, so we have created a new folder using sudo mkdir and the folder name. Okay, and then we have executed sudo mount additional value and the folder name. So in order to establish a link between the folder name and the additional value, so we have executed this command. Okay, and then we have executed ls space -l and the folder name. So we have executed this command to check whether the existing data is available or not. Okay, so these are the three commands that we executed in the second machine. Okay, so these are the Linux commands. So these are all about values in AWS. Okay, so now I will show another example. So there is one machine. Okay, so I have created one machine in 1A availability zone. Okay, suppose I have created one machine in 1A availability zone. 1A VM. Okay, and now I will create another machine in 1B availability zone. So here I will create one machine in 1B availability zone. Okay, 1B availability zone. Okay, so earlier if you want to transfer the data from one machine to another machine, so what we have done, so we have used additional value. Okay, so additional value is zone specific. So that means if both machines are in same availability zone, so then only we can able to transfer the data from one machine to another machine, right? So here now my machine is in 1A availability zone and another machine is in 1B availability zone. So now I want to transfer the data from 1A availability zone VM to 1B availability zone VM. Okay, so now here in this case additional value is not possible because additional values are zone specific. Okay, so now in order to transfer the data from 1A availability zone VM to 1B availability zone, then we have to make use of snapshots. Okay, so here that is the reason snapshots comes into the picture. Okay, so if you want to transfer the data from one machine to another machine which are in different availability zone, then we have to make use of snapshots. Okay, so here snapshots are regional specific. Okay, whereas volumes are zone specific. Okay, so now here if you want to transfer the data from one machine to another machine which are in different availability zone, then we have to make use of snapshots. Okay, so here this is the additional value. Okay, so that we have attached to first instance in 1A availability zone machine. Okay, so this is the additional value. Okay, so now I want to transfer this additional value data from one machine to another machine which are in different availability zone. So what I will do is, so from this additional value I will create a snapshot. Okay, So from the additional value, I will create one snapshot. So here I will create a snapshot. Okay, so once the snapshot is created, so from this snapshot, I will again create a additional value. Okay, so here I will create a additional value. So this is the additional value. Okay, so I will store this additional value in 1B availability zone. So why I will store this additional value in 1B availability zone is because our machine is in 1B availability zone. So that is the reason I will store this additional value in 1B availability zone. Okay. So, so here if we store this additional value in 1B availability zone, then we can simply attach this additional value to this machine. Okay. So here additional values are zone specific, whereas snapshots are regional specific. Okay. So here from snapshot we can create an additional value, and from additional value we can create a snapshot. Okay. So now I will show example for snapshots. So here I will go to the snapshots. Okay. So here I will create a snapshot. So here I will select a additional value. Okay. So I will select a additional value and then I will create a snapshot. See, this is a snapshot which I have created. Okay. So status is pending. Okay. So once the snapshot is completed, that means once the backup is completed, I will create an additional value. Okay. So this is the snapshot one. See, our backup is completed. Okay. So once the snapshot is completed, I will click on actions and I will create a value from the snapshot. Okay. So here I am creating an additional value. Okay. So here I will store the additional value in 1B availability zone. Okay. So here why we are storing our additional value in 1B availability zone. So that is because our machine is in 1B availability zone. So I will store this additional value in 1B availability zone. Okay. So here I will create a value. Okay. So this value is created. Okay. I will go to the values. See here once the value is created. Okay. I will select that additional value and I will click on action and I will attach a value. Okay. So here I will select the machine. Okay. And then I will click on attach value. Okay. So that value will be attached. Okay. So here in this way we can transfer the data from the one machine to another machine which are in different zones using the snapshot. Okay. So that is the reason snapshot comes into the picture. Okay. So here we are taking the backup manually by using the snapshot, right? So if you want to do it automate, then we have to make use of life cycle manager. Okay. So this is the life cycle manager and we have to click on the next step. Okay. So here we have to select the value and we can enter the name. We can enter a value. Okay. Test while we have to click on add policy description, test policy, and then we can click on the next. See here we have to select a schedule. Okay. So this is a schedule. So we want to take a backup. So do you want to take a backup daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? So that we have to select. Okay. And then at 9 o'clock it will start taking a backup. Okay. So for every 12 hours it will take a backup. Okay. So how many backups that we want to take, that we will select over here and then we will create a schedule. Okay. So it will create a 10 backups. Okay. When the 11th backup is created, it will delete the first one, and when the 12th backup is created, it will delete the second one. Okay. So this is nothing but a life cycle manager. Okay. So this is all about values and snapshots in AWS.